G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for part number 34 of my Beginner's Vitality Caster Ritualist playthrough. Last episode, we equipped the Dark One's raiment, and, or the Dark One's gift, I should say. I mean, technically I did equip the raiment as well, but that's just the chest piece. And we moved some stuff around, namely the Storm Totems are gone. They were Vitality Storm Totems. They are now Wendigo Totems, and, I mean, once I get rid of classic casting, they actually do a decent amount of damage. I'm not sure they're going to make up the difference in the lost damage from Ravenous Earth. This now does a lot more poison damage and a lot less vitality. But we've got damage enough that we can kill things, so I'm not too worried about it. And I'm not going to say we're invincible, but while we're standing in these, they heal for a silly amount. If you have a look at Mend Wounds there, every half a second you get 13% plus 1,350 healing back, as long as you are close. So you have to be within that green circle, and there has to be, it has to hit things as well. So you've got to be close to the enemy. They've got to be getting hit, and you've got to be getting hit. But you can, especially for bosses, just keep 2 totems on the go, and it'll be grand. Okay. I did mention at the end of the last episode that I would show you what I have done for sorting out my resistances. And to do that, I'm just going to jump over to Grim Tools, so as I can kind of show you what I started with, and then we'll go from there. So, let me get that on my screen. There we go. This is what we had pre-Dark One set. So, the Demonic Magi's Visage of Thorns. Honestly, this is probably one of the biggest damage increases for this build, so it is a shame to be losing it. I am going to fix this later this episode, because this is going to be a farming episode. There's not going to be any more progress here unless I happen to get the thing I'm looking for real fast. But this helmet has acid to vitality conversion for Ravenous Earth, which is why we lost a lot of damage taking it off. Okay, so what I've done is I've swapped in the Dark One set. So this one here now, if we wait a second while it loads the database, builds the database, put the Dark One's hood there, we'll put the Dark One's chest here, Dark One's shoulders or mantle, and the Dark One's gloves. Okay, so I did that, and my resistances kind of just broke. Now, I don't think I changed any other items here. Just looking at them again, I did not. So all the items are the same. Components-wise, they are, I believe, all the same. In fact, nope. Okay, so I've changed out the soul shards here. These are now bloodied crystals. And on my amulet, I've got a ward stone. So this one is a ward stone. So let's go ahead and chuck that there. And on these rings, we have bloodied crystals. Okay, so that fixes some of our resistances. So bleeding is actually fairly high up now. And I'm just double checking. Right, so I don't have a component on my weapon, and I don't have a component on my boots at the moment. So from here, this is the components that I actually have right now, except this one is actually an 8th soul. So that's where I'm up to. And I've also added some augments. So on the chest piece, I have got myself a Coven Warding Powder. A lot of this stuff is Coven's Warding Powder. In fact, let's just jump back into the game and I'll show you. I was trying to kind of show piece by piece what I did, but it's hard with the components. So I've got a Warding Powder there. I've got Outcast Warding Powder here, which is actually something I don't use very often, but there it is. Mammoth Wound Seer, I think there's a few of those. Kingsguard Powder, Coven Warding, another Coven Warding, another Coven Warding. So you can see we've got a decent amount of those. I have Corvin Cactus on both my main and offhand, and then my rings, and I believe they're all Wraith Screams. Yeah. So offensive ability and vitality damage percentage. The flat vitality damage technically is applied to Bone Harvest, but that's kind of a who cares thing. So that's where I'm up to. All my resistances are capped. Bleeding is exactly capped. Piercing is way over. 62% of just useless piercing resistance. Poison and acid I could definitely use some more of. The elementals also I could use some more of. Chaos I could use some more. And Aether I could use some more. Vitality, I mean, I wouldn't mind having another 2%, but otherwise that's fine. Okay, so I did say that this is going to be a farming episode, and it definitely is. So what we're going to do is we're going to head down to the Conclave of the Three, because we are going to be killing Hallanx or Hallanx the Forgotten. And that is where I got this from. So the third seal of Morganeth is from Hallanx the Forgotten, and also he has a 4% chance to drop a legendary offhand, which if I just bring that up on my other screen here, has 200% vitality damage, which is not hugely bigger, and actually the low end is 134, so I could be losing a little bit of vitality damage percentage. But the big thing is that it has Aether and Acid 36 to 54% converted to Vitality. Getting the Aether damage conversion doesn't really matter because, again, the only thing we have weapon damage on is Bone Harvest. But we can convert actually a lot of Aether damage here. Is there more over here? No, there isn't. So the Aether is kind of whatever. But the Acid to Vitality is a big thing because we have a lot of acid damage still on Ravenous Earth. So, easiest way I have found to get to Hallanx is to come here to the Sunbane Oasis, and remember what buttons do what. And you know what? I could kill that that hero back there. I'm just gonna not. Oh, I changed the movement rune as well. When I was changing the component on my medal, I swapped it out for a crafted one. So I now have Wendigo Rush, just because it does vitality damage. It's kind of whatever. It's fine. We can definitely kill some stuff now. Not that we couldn't before, and these are not exactly boss level threats, but yeah, that was without having any resistance shredding on them as well. So damage is definitely good. All right, so we want to head up the left-hand side here. Now, I mentioned the secret area at the back here last time I came through, and that is indeed where we are heading. Now, there's a lot of dogs and beetles and all sorts of other greeblies through here. You can fight them, you can ignore them, whatever you prefer. But we only really need to kill the last guy, the guy at the end, because he has, potentially, the item that I'm after. Not sure why I'm going out there. There is also, is it an Exalted Stash? I think it's an Exalted Stash. It might be a treasure trove, but I think it's an Exalted Stash in here. I might throw some bees at these guys. We definitely burn through them relatively quickly. So I think the damage loss on Ravenous Earth, I think, has been made up for with the damage gain on the other Wendigo totems. I'm definitely not too worried about damage loss. It seems like it's kind of fine. We did pick up the Seal of Ancestry, which goes on your amulet. I would like the Seal of Annihilation. Obviously, I don't have that, though. So we just keep on keeping on. We'll head up and to the left here, and this should be the last area. This should be where our boss fight is. Yeah, it is. So this is Hallanx the Forgotten, level 101. I think that's just my level plus 7. Do be careful about the arena, because there are statues And you don't really want to fight all of that at the same time. Let's just hold down right-click and keep the totems active. And you can see I really didn't lose much in the way of health at all. Now, he hasn't dropped his legendary. He has dropped a legendary. But I'm not after physical damage blocking gloves. So we're going to go again. And I did mention this is a farming episode, so it's very unlikely that we'll be doing anything other than fighting this guy until either my time is up or he drops his head. I mean, he should have a head every time, right? Like, it's his head. How does he not have a head? But anyway, he doesn't. At least sometimes he doesn't. So we're gonna go and do that. There's Ganavakar. This Zartox guy here. I should be skipping him, but anyway, I didn't. Sue me. The other issue, or I guess thing to note with the Hallanx's head is that it is a +1 to shaman skills offhand, so we will have to adjust some skill points again, but it's not really a big deal, honestly. Alright, let's just push forwards. You can come in from the other side for this. I'm not sure that it's particularly necessary, or not necessary. It's not faster, I don't think. I'm pretty sure it's faster to come in this way. You have more running underground, but less running. I mean, that's the exit. I don't know. I'll try from the Vanguard next time. I think this way is faster. Don't quote me. I could be wrong. The other good thing about Hallanx's head is it does have a -2 second skill recharge for the Wendigo totem as well. So potentially, well, not potentially, we actually will be getting a damage boost out of it as well. Hellrune Carver, no thank you, but I will, of course, eat the blueprint so it can't drop again. And we'll just keep on going. I'm going to do the totems because, well, totems. These are really good XP. If I wasn't resetting so frequently, I would probably use an XP potion through here. Unfortunately, I am resetting, so let's get out of that goop. As soon as you stop leeching, suddenly you start dying, which is pretty normal. Okay, Sapphire of Elemental Balance. That is actually a pretty good set if you're doing any kind of cold, fire, or lightning build. Channeling Orb of the Covenant. Ugnabog Leather. Okay, now we are talking. Ugnabog Leather is one of the better components. These goes in any armor slot. It gives you poison, acid, and bleeding, which if you're short on bleeding resistance, you can put it on your boots or your gloves or somewhere where the component is not so good. Generally, you're going to replace anti-venom salves with it, but it is a little expensive. Only a little, though. Alright, one more area to go, then I get to kill him again. So I've had 4% chance so far, out of 100%. So now we're going to be up to 4²%, I think is how it works. I forget exactly how it works. It's not just add another 4% though, I know that much. Okay, let's put another totem down. Rocks from above, I don't care, I have tons of health and I'm healing constantly. I don't love that he didn't drop it again, but this does give me a reason to go from the other side, so let's go ahead and jump back in. Less scrolling down as well, I guess, although it doesn't really make a big difference there. Whoop. Go down the other stairs first. There is also the chance on the way here that we're going to run into the big blue dog. Get out of the way. The big blue dog being not home today. I can't actually remember his name. Once again, I'm horrible with names. But he lives across the top here, probably about there-ish. And he can drop Eldritch Essence, which is very, very nice. Yeah, I'm still not sold 100% on either direction. I think this might be a little quicker, but not by much. I think the biggest problem is all the rubbish that gets in the way. So I kind of wish I had another movement skill, but Shaman and Necromancer don't get one in their trees, and I'm really bad at saving evade for dodging through packs that are choking up walkways. Alright, I guess I'll just kill some stuff. I do like XP still, so we can just murder some of them. If they refuse to get out of the way, then their corpses can be ragdolled out of the way. You should have just moved. Look, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really care about you guys. I'm just trying to get through here. If you'd let me through, you'd still be alive. And once again, they slowed me down, so now they must die. Alright, and I should be able to just walk the rest of the way up here now. Scooch past everybody on the way. Slowed down again. That's actually one of the most frustrating debuffs. Can you just, give everyone auto crits against me instead? I would much rather have that than lose speed. Alright, here we go. So I think I'm going to try and reflect some of the rocks coming down, although Mark of Torment at this point is probably just fine. Alright, we go again. So that's 3 shots at 4% each, 3 fails at 4% each. That's fine, we go again. I think I will keep coming in from the top, or from the vanguard of the 3. I think that is actually going to be a little quicker. Obviously, don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sold on it. Alright, where's Clifford the big blue dog? There he is. Grimnor, that's his name. Down he goes. Bunch of blues. Alright, look. Do I care about blues? I think I do. I think I want to grab them. At the very least, I can dynamite them for scrap. I think I have enough scrap, but more is never a bad idea. Just might not be something you need. Alright, I'm starting to learn. See, he can be taught. Save a movement skill to dodge through stuff. Alright, and in we go. These bugs, I think last time, were kind of in the way. So I should have kept a movement, or maybe like evade to get through them. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep evade to get through packs of dogs and such that get in the way, and otherwise use my movement rune to actually move. The loss of the evade skill is actually not super big deal in terms of movement speed. Alright, last floor, and we get another shot. So this one's going to be 4th attempt. So still not statistically likely to have dropped by this point. But, yeah, if it takes you more than about 20 kills, your dice don't like you. I am curious to see sort of how long this is going to take. For anyone who's still watching, because they're worried about missing content, if this guy doesn't drop now, I'm going to... Yeah, okay. I'm not going to do any more content. The rest of this episode is going to be a farming episode, so if you don't want to see it, then thank you for watching this far, and I'll see you in the next one. But yeah, this is definitely just going to be a farming episode. I do want to get that conversion back. I would like a larger conversion. I think there's maybe a belt. Let me just check that, actually. Let me go back to the build calc. Is there a acid damage converted to vitality belt? Computer says... No, there is not. Okay, so... pretty much stuck with what we get from this offhand. It's kind of fine, but also I would like a bigger percentage. I guess if it drops and it gives me 30-something%, I'm going to be a little bit upset. But also, there's not a huge amount I can do about it either way. These dogs, I swear. Biting at my ankles. Okay, so this is going to be attempt number 5, which is fine. We can just throw some stuff at them so they'll bugger off and let me through. At least in theory. More accurately, they're all going to bugger off and die. Should get maybe a level out of this too. Ooh, you know what? You can definitely die. You look like you're made out of experience and loot. We're just going to ignore that he didn't drop anything. I am going to go back here for this hero as well, though. Alright, and down he goes. Adala's will. Seen that before somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where. Looks like a good offhand. I guess I can pick it up to sell. Padala's Will, I think, was one of the very first blue offhands that I ever found in this game that I used, starting with a Necromancer. It is quite good, in my opinion. Right. As long as everybody dies here, that would be great. A few bugs, a few scorpions, should be fine. If everyone could just come and stand right next to me, that'd be great. Okay. I am taking damage from something. Probably goop on the ground again. Alright, eat the blueprints. Nothing I found too particularly fun. Let's go down to another floor here. Alright, one more floor to go, come on. Mythical Pestilence of Dreeg. Okay, if I was doing Acid Ravenous Earth, that'd be great. You guys just want to hang out there and preferably die. That'd be great. Okay, here we go. Chance number, what are we up to? 5, I think? So this will be 20% cumulative. I'm not even going to try to do maths and tell you exactly how much that should be. Alright, Mark of Torment's up, so hopefully I get hit by Sunder attack or something. Didn't happen, unfortunately. Dawnshard Gaze, not really what I'm after, but that's okay. Let's actually click the correct button. So we're looking at about 3 minutes per run for a piece of gear that is used in several endgame versions of the Ravenous Earth Ritualist. I think it's worth it. So I would expect that on average, you're going to spend somewhere around an hour farming this piece of gear. Obviously, you could get luckier. You could get unluckier. I definitely like that I barely take any damage. I'm not a big fan of how I suddenly melt as soon as everything's dead, though. As long as you're attacking things, the leech on this build is nuts. I should have kept the evade to get through. Oh well, that's fine. running in a straight line when everyone is ticking away and has the bat fang flying out behind me, piercing through everything. Everybody takes extra damage. It's great fun. Okay, that was a bit of a fail. Vendrog. Okay, Stoneplate Waistguard. This is actually not a bad waist. It's not great, but all those resistances are pretty good. 100 extra armor, really good, and then you can, I mean, Aether to Physical conversion is good if you're playing that build, and you get other affixes as well. So pretty dang good. It does get used on some builds. I would expect it on maybe a physical damage Death Knight. It was one of the ones I was looking at when I was putting together my my physical Force Wave Death Knight. I don't think I ended up going with it. I think I went with the +1 to Soldier Skills belt. But it was definitely an option. Okay, Totem, here we go. And now we pretty much just stand here and hold right click. I'm going to turn the loot off. And we can maybe move some stuff up here to take care of this dude. There's a petition set, because anytime you don't need petition, it's everywhere. So what do we get? Enchanted Earth. This is a pretty good, like, I don't have anything better to use kind of component. Lots of extra health, bit of extra armor. Not bad. Cowl of the Paragon. Two-piece Arcanist set. Panetti's stuff. It's not horrible. And then the Face Guard of Perdition. I can now craft the entire set for Perdition. I don't know why I would want to when I can just do like 3 more totems and I'll have the whole set. Since I'm not looking for it specifically, it should drop every other totem, should give me 2 or 3 pieces. I'm not bitter at all. Alright, Hallanx the Forgotten. Attempt number, I think, 5 now. Let's go ahead and turn Mark of Torment on. And no dice. Okay. We go again. This is a 4% drop rate, so I'm not really surprised that I don't have it yet. It's more irritating than surprising. What was that? Was that Aether Reach? It was Aether Reach. Pretty good gloves for the right build. Although, I mean, listen, every piece of gear is probably pretty good for the right build. Alright, here we go. Vanguard of the 3. Attempt number... Are we up to 7 yet? I should be able to count this. I've got 10 fingers, or 8 fingers and 2 thumbs. I should be able to count this high. Alright, there's a lot of stuff here. 2 heroes as well. I'm going to take these guys out. Any of these Eldritch beasts, even Eldritch, you get reputation with all 3 of the cults, so it is worth killing them. Because eventually you're going to want that reputation maxed out, and having it closer to being done when you start farming just means you have to farm for less long. Okay, I think I'm gonna try something different here, and by different I mean the thing I should have been doing the whole time, and I'm gonna try not to kill anything. What is that? Mortality. That is the proc from the Dark One set, I believe, for damage absorption. Alright, so holding evade to get through any packs that block the way, and using, was that Wendigo Call or something, was it? Wendigo Rush. Use that on cooldown. Interesting to note that the movement skill doesn't actually, like, it's not a skill, it gives you a movement speed boost, so if you happen to have that slowdown from the dogs on you when you use it, you move much slower. I'll see if I can do it again. Yeah. Hit me. Alright, don't hit me then. Eventually one of them will hit me, and then I'll show it. Okay. I mean, I said they would hit me eventually, and they haven't, so... This boss is literally never going to drop this head. It's physically impossible for him to drop it. It's never going to happen. Got him. I'm going to be very surprised, but also very happy if it does drop this time. Alright, actually taking damage from that, but healing up pretty quickly. Alright, it didn't work. I shouldn't be surprised. Attempt number 8. This is a good way to get rubbish blue items that I was supposed to blow up for scrap, but we're just going to pretend I didn't say that. This is a good way to get rubbish blue items and also reputation with the cults here. I know I mentioned that last time, but honestly, I'm struggling to find things to say that isn't just a repeat, so, you know, deal with it, I guess. Alright, and Grimoire goes down, does not drop... Hang on, I'm frozen. Does not drop me an Eldritch Essence, which would be ideal. But, you know, them's the breaks. I definitely remember farming him for Eldritch Essence. I think it was for transmuting the Perdition set on that character, I think. I definitely remember I farmed him, but I can't remember why. I'm pretty sure it was transmutation for the Perdition stuff. I could be just completely making that up in my head. Yeah, there we go. I was slowed down. I did the move skill, and it went a little bit slower than normal. Alright, no totem for me yet. Hopefully that means it's going to be on the... Never mind, there it is. Ask and ye shall receive. Alright, here we go. Let's turn this off. Let's get some damage on the ground. And we can throw bees at them as well. Why not? It's not quite as fast as like a Rune of Callister build where you just stack up a whole bunch of mines on the area and then blow them all up instantly. But it's still pretty good. Did pick up the Stoneplate Greaves, which is a pretty good pair of boots. Yellow ones, so you get a prefix and a suffix when you craft those. They are a really, really good way to absolutely devastate your supply of scrap and bits, because you'll usually have to craft like 1 to 200 of them to get the affixes you want. But it can happen. Runebound Topaz, pretty good on your rings, especially if you have a need for stun duration. I mean, shield damage as well, or shield block rather. But, I mean, who plays shield builds, am I right? Equipping a shield just means you can't have a two-hander. Why would you do that to yourself? Alright, and coming up on kill number 8 or so, got Brutalax, or Brutalax. I don't know why I said it like that. How are we doing? A lot of blues, 1 purple. Let's go again. 9, I think? Attempt number 9? Sounds about right. I'm going to say it's 9. No one's going to go back and watch the whole thing just to tell me I'm wrong. Who would do such a thing? Alright, who are you? Steeljaw. Do you really have a jaw made out of steel? I suspect you don't. No Grimoire this time, which I guess is good. Don't have to stop and kill him. So what have we got? We've got the Eye of Echo. That's right, I got up to the Vanguard and then just kind of stopped. I mean, makes sense, right? Alright, floor number 1, we're through. Floor number 2, start running. I think I'm going to stop for heroes and nothing else. I know I say that all the time, and then I stop. But I think it's going to be heroes and totems, and everybody else gets ignored. Or if they block the way too much, I'll kill them as well. I gotta stop coming this way, because this staircase is way too easy to block. A Vendrog again. I wonder what the developers were thinking when they came up with that name. Might have been one of the supporters' names as well. I know there's a few, although they usually have the supporter in the name. I don't know. Vendrog. What does it mean? Who knows? Scorpius Pummeler of Caged Souls. That is a pretty good weapon for goals. Ritualist. So, I mean, we could go pets, actually. I'm not going to, because I already have a goals ritualist, but could go pets. Alright, attempt number 9. Here we go. Hey buddy, I got some bees for you. Yeah, have some more bees. Lots of bees for you. Vestments of Mourning. Okay, that is not Hallanx's head. One good thing, I guess, about showing this this farm is that people can see kind of how long it takes. And then you'll be able to see when I put the item on, the effect that it makes on the damage, and then decide if you want to be bothered farming for it. Because it is going to take quite a while. Where are you, Grimoire? Grimoire's not home today, so that's nice at least. Back into the mountain. Here we go. Attempt number 10, I believe. Might be 11 at this point. I'm going to say it's 10. Here we go. Level number 2. Wonder if I'm going to get any heroes this time. Didn't get heaps of them last time. We can go this way. That's a hero. I recognize that aura anywhere. The Wrathblade, which is probably going to get sold. I should be blowing them up to get scrap, but, you know, I'm probably not going to. Here's the totem. So I'm going to stack up all the totems, all of the everything damage-wise in this one spot here. And then let's see if we can drag them over it. Blade Dancer's Handguards, the Corpse Desecrator. If you guys would just die, that'd be great. Blazing Ruby. I don't think I've ever used this. It's certainly not bad. It's a bunch of health, some slow resistance, and then the retaliation. If I was making a fire retaliation build, I would consider it. Otherwise, no. So what did I say? 11? Attempt number 11? We got to be getting to, like, about 30% chance at this point to have it drop by this point. Late mail of Octavius. Alright, fine, I'll use a potion. I am nowhere near as scared of that sort of stuff as I should be at this point. Alright, here we go. Attempt number 11. I still have a totem somewhere. Alright, refresh the bees. Let's go ahead and use Mark of Torment. And Nothing. Okay. Bartholom's verdict. Alright, I'm going to blow some of these up. Let's actually check out how many scraps do I have. I have 167. I changed my mind. I think I would rather have the dynamite. Alright, attempt number 12. Here we go. So I think how the maths works is you do 100 minus 4%, or 100% minus 4% is the chance for the item to not drop, and then you multiply that by however many times it didn't drop, and that'll give you the chance for it to not drop or something like that. I forget exactly how it works. You think I'd be better at maths, but doing maths while you're recording is a very bad idea. But it's not as simple as just adding the numbers together, I know that. Otherwise, I would just be like, well, this is attempt number 12, and that means that this is going to be 48% chance. No, that's not how it works. Would be nice if it was how it worked, but it's not. I should have set this up beforehand. I could have had an Excel spreadsheet on the side and just had it so where I put in the number of kills and what the cumulative chance to have it drop is. I mean, it wouldn't really matter. It's still, it's 50-50. It's either dropped or it hasn't. That's really all you need to know. Do I have it? Yes? Okay. Stop farming, go do something else. Do I not have it? No? Okay, keep farming. That's really all you need to know. Alchemist Mantle. Let's turn that off, actually, just so I'm not looking at it when I should be fighting for my life. Alrighty, level 95. You know what that means? That's another skill point that I don't really know what to do with. What was I looking at the other day? Someone did mention I should just chuck a point into Call of the Grave. The issue then is I've got another button to push, and it gives me 10% crit damage and 65% vitality damage. Yes, it's not nothing, but it's also an extra button to push, and I just kind of don't want to deal with it. So I'm not going to. More points in Mark of Torment, perhaps? What about on Shaman? Everything I want is maxed out. More health would kind of be okay. Could get more armor here, actually. I think I'll put a few more points. Never mind, I can't put a few more points into that. It's already done. See, there's another perdition piece. I'm very surprised that it's only been one piece in the blueprint so far. Okay, is that a hero? That is a hero. Hey, Fervol. That really is your name. Thanks for the blue and the bits. Alright, going north around here for some reason. Why? I don't know. Seemed like a good idea at the time. Alright, down to level 3. We get another shot. Here we go. Attempt 12, is it? I think it's 12. I should spend that attribute point as well. Let's get in his face. Continuously place more and more snot volcanoes. More and more totems. Laugh at his meteors. And he's dead. Alright, still didn't drop it. Have got pretty much the entire Eastern set, or at least enough pieces that I could have the entire Eastern set at this point. And some blueprints to eat. What do we... No, you know what? I'm not waiting around to see that. And we go again. 13? 13, I think? It's gotta be 13, right? 12 plus 1? Pretty sure that's 13. I might swap back to the other direction, just so I get some variety in the sort of things that I get to see along the way. It's probably not a bad idea to have other things you could be farming as well. Definitely getting... Is it 1 or 2 totems through this cave network. I think it's 2. I could be completely making that up. It could just be the 1. It's probably just 1, let's be honest. Alright, successfully dodged all the doggies. I have to. Bargox. Give me something nice. Give me anything nice. I mean, Serenity is actually pretty good. So, Serenity is +1 to all skills in both masteries. You get double resistances. The Serenity proc, when you get low, restores a bunch of your health, gives you a massive boost to resistance there. Most of that should be useless, but 35% physical resist when it goes off is pretty good. That is quite tempting, actually. I mean, it's expensive, for sure. Kilrian's Shattered Soul is a component. But that is a very nice drop. I actually don't think there's any build in the game that couldn't use that and be happy. There's definitely some builds that want other things, but Serenity is a really good relic. Especially if you're playing pets, it's hard to not use that just because of how starved for skill points pet builds are. That was the worst movement rune skill usage I've ever seen. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, that's actually not true. I have absolutely seen way worse usages like that one. Or there's been a few times where I've been standing next to a wall, and what I expect to happen is the character to like step sideways less than the length of his body and go through the doorway right next to him, but instead he just slams his face into the door jamb or the wall next to the door. It's somewhat depressing at times. Okay, did I say 12 or 13? You know what, I'm going to lowball this one, and the next time I forget, I'll highball it. This is chance number 13. Here we go. Hallanx the Forgotten. This is the last time I have to kill him. No, it's not. Okay, exit to menu, we go again. The good news about this is I've already got all of the warrants for the cults, so they're all coming along nicely. And I've only done about half of the Forgotten God stuff. Which is probably a third out of them, actually. I did say I was going to come from the other direction next time. Alright, what are we saying? Attempt number 14? Let's go. If I can't get this to drop before the 1 hour mark, you know what? I didn't kill Ganavakar. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. Thank you for sundering yourself. That is much appreciated. Amaras and Sigil. Andorus Amplifier. Alright. You guys just get out of the way. That'd be great. There we go. Alright, attempt number 14, but this is actually, I think, the second time only that I killed Ganavakar, so I reckon that's what it is. That's the source. That's what I was missing. So you've just got to kill him, and then, I mean, it'll drop. For sure, it has to, right? Right? Please? So we're up to, what did I say, 14? So I've killed him 13 times. So that's going to be, got to be getting close to sort of 45%, 40%, something like that. Chance for this to have dropped by now. But you know what? Like my mom used to say, you're not smart, but you are persistent. I think she said stubborn, actually. I don't actually remember her telling me that I wasn't smart either, but it sounds better. And it's definitely true. One thing I am is persistent. Okay, Diviner's Codex. Don't really need that. but I'll take it. It's going to be some upset people when I eventually vendor that for 1,000 iron bits or whatever it is, but yeah, it is what it is. There's always going to be someone who wants the thing that you just turned into a handful of iron bits. It's just how it is. That's fine. Alright, going down. Here we go. Boss number attempt. Boss number attempt? Boss attempt number 14. Refresh the bees. Mark of Torment. I'm still just holding right click at this point. 3, 2, refresh bees. Didn't really need to do that. Codex of the Eternal Storms. I was excited there for a second. I saw the purple. I was getting ready to celebrate. Seems I was a little bit premature. No one's ever accused me of that before, by the way. But it is what it is. Alright, let's go the short way. Ganavakar has failed me. I also don't think killing him has any effect at all on the chance of the drop. But, you know, we live in hope. Oh, you there. You look like someone who's made out of reputation. Also, they have the gargoyle MIs. So the belt, +1 to Nightblade, or +1 to Oathkeeper. And then they have helmets, and they also, I think, have shoulders. They've got a lot of MIs, which is really frustrating when you want one of them, because those guys don't really have a set spawn point. So they're quite hard to find until the very last area of Forgotten Gods. And even there, they're a little bit thin on the ground. So no good drops. Why is there never any good drops? Yeah, okay, I'm getting 1 to 2 legendaries for every single run through here, but none of them are the legendary I want, therefore they are not good drops. That is the rule that I just made up. It's not the exact thing that I want, therefore is bad. Okay, I do see the totem again. So I'm going to go ahead and murder that to death. Alright, and I think I'm going to move my snot volcanoes and my totems down here. My health bar is moving. What is going on there? Alright, bunch of blues. Blueprint that I don't need. Are we off the first page yet? Not really. I've got to get better at eating the blueprints, though. Otherwise I'm going to start getting duplicates. Well, more duplicates. Vendrog again. Seems to live in here. Bloodhound Greaves, okay, okay. I wonder if the Hound heroes have a higher chance to drop that what are they called? The Bloodhound Greaves? Because I know with things like what's the name of that pistol from named after one of the Crumleys guys? Is it Leander? I think it is. Leander actually has a higher drop rate on that than regular heroes. At least according to Zantai, who I assume knows what he's talking about, since, you know, it's his game. Alright, attempt number 15, I think? 15. I'm going to go with 15. Okay, 16 it is. 16 is the lucky number, after all. And I think this is going to be my last run. If you've watched this far and you're interested in seeing the rest of this farming experience, go ahead and throw me a comment. Just tell me you want to see the rest of it, because otherwise I may end up just farming this in between episodes, because I imagine there's also a decent number of people who are not interested in watching me fail at RNG for another hour. But if you do want to see it, throw me a comment, and I'll wait a day or two. and then see what the consensus is, if there is one, and if there isn't, then well, I'll just do what I like then. Alright, it won't let me evade through them. Okay, so this is going to be the last run. This is run number 16, I believe. So we should be getting fairly close to statistical 50%, something like that. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. That's fine. So yeah, the question for the viewers, if you've watched this far, firstly, thank you, you mad bastard. I appreciate it. But the question is content or finish the farming? Which would you prefer to see? There's probably only 1 or 2 more episodes left in this series until I hit level 100. But maybe you want to see the farming, maybe you want to see, you know, just get on with it sort of thing. But just let me know what you're after, what you would prefer, and we can go from there. I mean, I basically am just farming my way to 100 anyway. Okay, 1 more floor to go. And then we are at attempt number 16. We'll see if it drops. I hope it does, but I'm definitely definitely won't be surprised if it doesn't. It's another statistical fallacy that a lot of people end up maybe not falling for it, but saying things like, you know, it's a 50% chance to drop because I've killed it 16 times or whatever. They just add it up. Still only a 4% chance that it's going to drop this time. Which is a little bit depressing. I wouldn't mind having some, like, bad luck suppression. Yep, it's not there. Alright, so Vestments of the Morning again. Let's go and vendor this. This is going to be the last run. So actually I'm going to end the episode here. So I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Comment below if you want to see the rest of this, or if you just want to see the end of the series. And goodbye for now.